श्रीमद्भागवतन्नाम पुराणं लोकविश्रुतं शृणुयात् श्रद्धया युक्तः मम सन्तोषकारणम्। श्रीमद्भागवती वार्ता सुराणामपि दुर्लभा। मेनिरे भगवद्रूपं शास्त्रं भागवतं कलौ। जन्मकर्म च मे दिव्यं एवं यो वेत्ति तत्त्वतः। त्यक्त्वा देहं पुनर्जन्म नैति मामेति सोऽर्जुन। Srimad Bhagavatam is an unparalleled Purana. It contains all the divine pastimes of Sri Krishna. By meditating on the pastimes, birth and death become a matter of the past. We are not born or dead again. The birth in which we reflect upon the glorious pastimes of Krishna, that remains to be the last birth. We attain his lotus feet, from there we never return. This Bhagavata Purana was so precious and dear to all the acharyas, especially to the recipient emperor Parikshit. Parikshit did not want this to be exchanged with the holy elixir, Amrita even. When Parikshit was studying Bhagavata Purana under Shukacharya, the Devas allured him. They offered Amrita in exchange for Bhagavata Purana. Parikshit quickly refused. He said, "Nothing could surpass the glory or the enjoyment of listening to Bhagavata." As you all know, this is a Purana preached in 7 days by Shukacharya to King Parikshit. What did he achieve on listening? He got satisfied that the Atman is immortal. If at all something is destroyed, it's only the body and not the Atman. He died finally, but not his Atman. This is what Parikshit realized at the end of the 7th day. This realization develops our bhakti. We get absorbed in the divine attributes and pastimes of Krishna. That improves our taste to reach him. We are all unconditional surrenderers. We perform Sharanagati. Then we lead a pious life serving him. What more is required to reach him? Bhagavan doesn't expect anything as means to reach him. As we accept Sriman Narayana himself as the Upaya, as the means for salvation, we don't require anything else than him. But there is something else that is required. Bhagavan expects this from us. That is, the thirst to reach him. The more we are thirsty, the more we are close to him. Is it not right on his part to expect thirst at least? You can feed food. But if one is not hungry enough, his hunger is not enough, then the food would not be tasted properly. One would not appreciate the person who gives the food. So although Bhagavan does not expect anything as Upaya, he expects an eligibility on the part of the Sharanagata. An Annadata may not expect anything he would feed, except one. Of course, the Annadata would expect me to be hungry enough to receive the food. If I am not hungry and being given food, unfortunately the food won't be tasty. Similarly, I have to develop that hunger, thirst towards Bhagavan. How do I do that? The only way is to listen to his pastimes, is to meditate on his glorious attributes. Thus, all the Puranas and Itihasas were born. So the purpose of Itihasa Purana is to develop thirst in us, is to develop a hunger in us that we have to reach his lotus feet. Of course, the Puranas would serve their purpose, but we have to continuously listen to them. Not only just listen, but meditate on whatever we have listened. If that happens, Krishna assures us of a seat just close to him in Sri Vaikuntha. The fourth chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna assures us, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yovetti tattvataha. His janma and karma, the fact that he was born, and all his pastimes, both are divine in nature. His birth is divine, his pastimes are divine. Janma karma cha me divyam. They are not only divine to you, Arjuna. At times, when I think about them, in fact, I myself am surprised. Was I born as a cowherd boy? Did I flee from Mathura to Gokula? Was I afraid of Kamsa? Will it happen to Paramapurusha Narayana? Not at all. But still Krishna did all those. So when he thinks even, he is so surprised that I am born in this material world. I did so many pastimes, and there are so many people who think about those pastimes and reach my lotus feet. It's divya to us, divine to us, and even more divine to Krishna himself. Janma karmacha me divyam evam yo vetti tattvataha. But we must know the true, the underlying fact underlying fact behind every pastime. To give you an example, Krishna lied. Krishna stole butter. Krishna went ahead. He untied all the calves and cows. He did so many things as a child, as a boy of age 5 or 6. He did so many pastimes. Now, are these acceptable if my son or daughter do? It's not. We blame, we complain. Whereas, when Krishna did, why do we not complain? The reason behind is, he is never touched or affected by karma. If we do something, it's all a result of our karma. If he does something, it's a result of his kripa and ichcha, and certainly not karma. That makes all the difference. So if you realize that and then enjoy his pastimes, that is when you reach his lotus feet. But if I read the book and understand that, I read it. Now I get to know that he too lied, he too robbed. If I know that I too lie and rob, Krishna also did the same, so he is also a culprit. Then I won't reach to Vaikuntha. If I know the fact behind every pastime, that is when I realize the self as well as Paramatma, the relationship between the self, Jivatma, and Paramatma. That is when I am elevated from this material world to the transcendental world. So we must know that let's not take anything on its just face value. Instead, we will have to probe into it, find the real reason. Why did Krishna do this pastime? That's very important. Whenever Parikshit listened to a pastime, he immediately, politely questions. His questions are very, very inquisitive. The inquiry is, why did Krishna do so? Why did not Krishna do so? Why did Krishna abstain from this? Shukacharya was so patient to give replies to all the questions of Parikshit. There are many questions in the pastime which we are going to discuss today even. Today's topic is Raasa Leela. What did Krishna do during Raasa Leela? What were the questions raised by Parikshit to Shukacharya pertaining to Raasa Leela? What were the replies given by Shukacharya? And of course, the glory, the greatness, the anubhava, the taste of Rasa Leela. Let us do it shortly. We will not have much time to do. Rasa Leela is a pastime which might take about 3 to 4 days to enjoy. But we don't have that much time. Let us see only the factual part of it rather than the enjoyment or experience part of it. There are always two parts to any pastime. One is all the questions and the answers pertaining. Other is the real tasty, juicy part. We will try to strike a balance between the two. In the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Shukacharya begins, Shri Shuka Uvacha, Bhagavanapi Taratrihi, Sharadotpulla Malikaha, Vikshyarantum Manaschakre, Yoga Mayam Upashritaha. Manaschakre, he decided. Now this is autumn season. The evenings are so beautiful. Let me use these evenings well. Bhagavan, taking such a decision, now decides about Rasa Leela. Rasa Leela is a sportive dance. It's a circular dance. It has many forms. The most important and the predominant form liked by every one of us is a Krishna, a Gopika, a Krishna. Krishna resembles himself. He multiplies himself into many more Krishnas. You look at two Krishnas flank a Gopika. Two Gopikas flank a Krishna. That would mean Krishna and a Gopika alternate. A Gopika, a Krishna. A Gopika, a Krishna. They stand in a circular form. That's the design of this dance. Krishna himself is a great dancer. He did Kumbha Nritya. Let me just name all the Natyams that he did. Kumbha Natyam, Hallika Natyam, Chora Natyam, Rasa Leela, Jalakrida. These were different forms of his arts being performed. One is Rasa Leela, which we are going to enjoy today. Alvar in one of his pasharam says, Kudakkutan. Kudakkutan is, he danced with a pot. A few pot in his right palm, a few more in his left palm. He will have to throw them in air. A few more in air, and no pot should fall down. He had to balance all the pot. Not only that, he had a drum tied to his waist. He had to play that drum even, play the drum, dance, ensure that no pot falls. This was a great sport for Krishna. Before the birth of Krishna, now we must know a point here. We all talk about BC and AD. For us all, it has to be BK and AK. It is before the birth of Krishna and after the birth of Krishna. Before his birth, it was always Nanda Gopala who stood first in Kumbhanatya. He was ever the first. But after Krishna was born, never Nanda Gopala tried to play that sport again. Right from the day Krishna started playing that, he won everyone. Kumbhanatya, Hallisanatya. There are 2-3 other varieties. You would have heard about Krishna's divine dance on the hoods of Kaliya. Kaliya was a serpent. Krishna wanted to drive Kaliya away from a small pond. That was not the place for Kaliya. Kaliya was a deadly serpent. That poisonous serpent must have lived only in a sea or an ocean. Instead, he fitted himself into a small pond. That created havoc in the small hamlet village of Gokula. So Krishna decided, this poisonous snake has to leave this place. He jumped into that small pond, took hold of the hoods of Kaliya. Kaliya was ferocious. He tried to kill Krishna. Krishna jumped on the hood of Kaliya, started to dance. There were different forms of dances that he practiced. With his left leg, he placed his left leg on the first hood. Then his right on the third hood. Left again on the fifth hood. Right again on the seventh hood. Left again on the ninth hood. So he alternated with the odd numbers. Then again, when he reached the 100th hood, from then on, he returned the journey. 98, 96, 94 with even numbers. So left to right he went odd. Right to left he came back even. This is one type of dance. There was another type. If you had visited Ahobila Kshetra, Narasimha Kshetra, During the annual Brahmotsavam of Narasimha Perumal, this dance is done by lot of Andhaites. They play. There are a lot of gypsies around that place. One man would stand as a central focal point. 10-15 girls will stand around him. All of them tie themselves with this man with ribbons or some cloth. Then they all start dancing. Once they go in circle and circles and circles, this man gets tied with all the ribbons. Then they unwind. When they unwind and dance in the reverse order, this man gets untied. So this is a type of dance. Krishna was a great exponent of this dance. One Krishna, many girls around him was a dance. One Krishna on the hoods of Kaliya was another type. Dancing with pots in hand was of a third type. Then the fourth type is Raasa Leela. Here, Krishna is not one in number. Neither the girls are one in number. Krishna, many Krishnas and many Gopikas. This dance was so beautifully enjoyed by all the Gopikas, but it raised the eyebrows. There were many questions being raised on this dance. Let me now go through them. Viksharantum manaschakre yogamayam upashritaha tada udurajaha kakubhaha karairmukham prachya vilimpan narunena shantamaihi sa charshaninam udagachavaha mrijan priya priyaya iva dirgha darshanaha. When Krishna decided to perform Rasa Leela, then all the devatas, the demigods and nature all decided to support him. They had to play a very good role so that they enhance the experience of Rasa Leela. So Chandra decided, let me glow as Krishna wants. Surya decided, let me not appear till Rasa Leela gets completed. Yamuna decided, let me flow slowly so that I stay back and enjoy every moment of Rasa Leela. So all objects around Krishna, right from nature to sun to moon to Nakshatragana, all the trees and creepers and whatnot, all of them together, they joined together in support of this dance. Shukacharya further explains to Parikshit. He says, Ajagmuhu, Ajagmur Anyonyam Amala, Ikshita Udyamaha, Sayatra Kantaha, Jabalola Kundalaha, Duhantyo Bhiyaguhu, Kvachit, Doham Hitva, Samutsukaha. What happened inside the village? Now outside, Krishna was preparing to begin the dance. Inside, many cowherders' girls, they were all serving their family. One was cooking, other was sweeping, other was feeding her child, other one was sleeping, other one was singing. All of them abandoned whatever they were doing. They suddenly rushed towards Krishna. One did not look at her husband, other did not serve her in-law, other did not take care of the cow. All of them, they abandoned whatever they were doing and rushed towards Krishna. Why? To enjoy Rasa Krida with him. Shushruyantyaha patin kvachid ashnatyaha apasya bhojanam limpantyaha pramurjantyaha anya ajantyaha kascha lochane. None of them bothered that. Are they stopping their duty? Is it not their responsibility to feed their children? Is it not their bounden duty to take care of their in-laws? Is it not a son's bounden duty to take care of his parents? They forgot everything. They abandoned whatever they are doing, they reached. Now, is it right to do? Now, the question must be asked after I tell you a short story. This story is from Mahabharata. Krishna came as a messenger, as a Duta for Pandavas, pleading for 5 small gramams, 5 small villages from Kauravas. Unfortunately, not understanding the request or the greatness of Krishna, Duryodhana, the ill-fated Duryodhana, planned to arrest Krishna. He dug a big pit. He placed many warriors beneath it. Then he thought, let me close it with a beautiful carpet, place a sinhasana, a great ornamental chair on top of it, make Krishna, invite him to sit there. Krishna would sit, the asana would break, Krishna would fall. Let me arrest him in the pit. This was his great plan. Vidura reminded him. Sanjaya told him, This is not right, Duryodhana. You are not going to succeed at all. First, Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra asked Sanjaya and Vidura, now can we pay something? Can we bribe Krishna so that he joins our side? So that he switches sides when elections come closer. Then you talk about switching sides. Dhritarashtra inquired with Vidura. He asked him, can Krishna switch sides if I pay him something? Vidura asked Dhritarashtra, how much would you pay? I can give him 10 villages if he wants. I can give him 10 chariots or 100 cows or 1,000 horses. But Vidura laughed at him. Don't you realize your folly, Dhritarashtra? If you give 5 gramams to Krishna, he would not come at all. You are not willing to do that. Instead, you are willing to bribe Krishna with 10 villages. Is it not your foolishness? But still, he held on to his esteem. He thought, I should not part with anything to Pandavas. This was the decision. This is the foolish decision of Duryodhana. Duryodhana, as he wanted, dug a pit. Krishna entered. When Krishna entered, Duryodhana had already warned all the kings who sat around him, nobody should rise from your chair. Sit. Don't show your respect to Krishna. If at all anyone gets up from his chair, I will really burn his kingdom to ashes. இது சொல்லிட்டார். பெரியாழ்வார் in one பாசுரம் explains this whole episode as கடல் மன்னர் சூட கதிர்போல் விளங்கி எடலுற்று மீண்டே இருந்து துடலைப் பெரிதுடை துச்சோதனனை அடலவிழித்தானே அச்சோ அச்சோ ஆழியங்கையனே அச்சோ அச்சோ. அச்சோ இஸ் a great word in Tamil. அச்சோன்னா எனக்கு என்ன சொல்றதுன்னே தெரியலையேங்கிற மாதிரி. அதுபோல அச்சோ ஒருவர் அழகியவா. One அச்சோ by பெரியாழ்வார், another அச்சோ for திருமங்கியாழ்வார். You see all the 4,000 pasharams, you will get only 2 achos. One Alvar, Thirumangi another Periyalvar. Thirumangi seeing the beauty of Nagapattinam Saundaraja Perumal. He was such a beautiful, charming deity. So looked at him, he spontaneously, Thirumangi he sings this song. Ponnivarmeni Maradahattin, Pongilam Shodhi Ahalattaham Min, Ivar Vail Nal Vedamodum Vediyar Vanavar Avar Tori. என்னையின் நோக்கி என் நல்குலும் நோக்கி ஏந்திளங் கொங்கையின் நோக்குகின்றார் அங்கையன் நோக்குமென் அஞ்சுகின்றேன் அச்சோ ஒருவர் அழகியவா. How do I explain with words the charm of Saundaraja Perumal? He looks so beautiful. Similarly, that was between between 2 lovers. Thirumangi took the form. He assumed himself to be a girl, an Ayika, and he assumed Saundaraja Perumal to be the Nayaka, and they were singing together. Whereas in this case, Periyalvar thinks Krishna as his son. Acho, Rodalaippedudai Tuchodhanane, Kadal Mannar Shuda Kadirubol Vilangi. Duryodhana was seated. He was like a makaranda, like the central part of a lotus flower. He was in the central part. All like the petals of lotus. Many kings were seated. They were all quite steadfast. They were holding on to their chairs because they were quite scary. They were scared. If at all I get up, then I'll be burnt to ashes. So they didn't get up. But you know what happened? To the surprise of all those kings, it was Duryodhana who got up first. Krishna entered. When he entered, Kadal Mannar Shuda Kadirbol Vilangi, Yadaluttu, Duryodhana got up. He looked around. Have you seen sports day or annual day exercises being done by 100 students? There will be a chief guest. He would be watching from a raised platform. 100,000 students will do right, left, this way, that way. When all 999 put their arms up, one student will put it sideways. It will be really visible. When all are not there, when all hands are down, if one hand is up, will it not be clearly visible? Similarly, all kings were seated. Duryodhana got up. Krishna smiled at him. Duryodhana, you too? I thought the other kings would get up, but they did not. But you have got up. Why did that happen? There, Vyasacharya, the great author of Mahabharata, Vyasam, Vasishtanaptaram, Shakte Pautramakalmasham, Parasharatmajam Vande, Shukatatam Taponithim, Vyasaya Vishnurupaya, Vyasarupaya Vishnave, Namo Vai Brahmanithaye, is a Brahmanithi. Namo Vai Brahmanithaye, Vasishtaya Namo Namaha. If at all you get a feeling, somehow I am unable to understand, decipher the meaning of these great shlokas, the problem is probably we are not grateful to Vyasacharya. If that happens, everything will follow. ஆச்சாரியால்கிட்ட நமக்கு பிரதிபத்தி இருந்தால்தான், அவர்களிடத்துல நம்பிக்கை இருந்தால்தான் எதுவுமே புரியும். எத்தனை நாள் இந்த புஸ்தகத்தை புரட்டினதுக்காக ஒரு அர்த்தமும் புரியவே புரியாது. ஏன்னா அவர்கள் எழுதினது எதையும் எதிர்பார்க்காத எழுதிட்டு போயிருக்காது. அவ ஒன்றும் ராயல்ட்டியா கேட்டா யோசிச்சு பாருங்க. Whenever we study Bhagavatam, should we not spend a token amount as royalty to Shukacharya? Will he ask? Yes, he expects. What does he expect? I have once studied Bhagavatam. Oh Shukacharya, should I send you some royalty? Yes, you have to. And the request is, study that again. அதான் ராயல்ட்டி. அதை தவிர அவர் ஒன்றுமே கேட்க மாட்டார். அதை இன்னொரு தரம் படி, இன்னொரு தரம் படி, இன்னொரு தரம் படி. படிக்க படிக்க பக்தி வளரும் இல்லையோ. So let's not forget, we should be ever grateful to Vyasacharya, the one who preached all the 18 Puranas, the one who authored Mahabharata, 125,000 shlokas. Parashara Maharishi, the illustrious father of Vyasacharya, he mentions this. In those days, fathers would not appreciate or applaud sons. They won't do that. Ippada, even if you fetch water, I have to say thanks. அது இப்போ அப்போ அதெல்லாம் பண்ண மாட்டா. முதுகு தோலை உரிச்சு வச்சியா இப்படி தான் ஆரம்பிப்பா. இப்போ நம்ம தோலை உரிச்சிருவோம் ஜாகிரதையா இல்லைன்னா. பட் ஹியர் பராசர மகர்ஷி, த ஃபாதர் ஆஃப் வியாசாச்சாரியா, மென்ஷன்ஸ் திஸ். கோஹ்யன்யோ புவி மைத்ரேய மகாபாரத கிருத் பவேத். ஹூ எல்ஸ் than my son can author this great epic Mahabharata? Now my son is so glorious. Vyasacharya, let us again, a minute, let us think about the great service he has done to this humanity. Thank him. In Mahabharata, he mentions when Krishna entered, why did all this happen? The reason being, we are always tied down with our karma. The moment you have darshan of Sri Krishna, our karmas take away, they sway a lot. They sway away from us. That's an opportune moment. They're not removed, but they sway away. They stay away from us. The moment we notice that we have had darshan of Krishna, these karmas are staying away from me. Now is the moment. Now is the time when I can really remove them from me. But we have to realize that and remove. He would also remove. But if I don't realize that, like Duryodhana, having sighted Krishna, did not realize. Ravana had darshan of Rama, did not realize. Kumbhakarna had darshan of Rama, did not realize. Shishupala had darshan of Krishna, realized and got liberated. So I have given you examples for both cases now. Both are possible. You can realize in a moment. Shishupala was so wicked throughout his life, but in his last moment he had darshan of Krishna and left to Sri Vaikuntha. So the reason, both are possible. When all the kings looked at Krishna, they were too worried that they will be burnt to ashes. Duryodhana, how did he get up? And not only Duryodhana, Vratam amunchata, Homam amunchata, Sarvam amunchata. The rishis who were performing penances, it seemed they stopped. All those who were meditating, they got disturbed. They stopped. All mothers who were feeding, they stopped. All cultivators who are cultivating, they stopped. Why does everything, why are all these people stopping? The reason being, the moment we have darshan of Krishna, we will forget other things. This is what is told in Bhumadigaranam. Yatra nanyat pashyati, nanyat shrunoti, nanyat vijanati, sabhuma. This is a great study in Upanishads. Bhumadigaranam is discussed in Brahma Sutra even. What does it say? Simply, if you have to translate it in the words of Tiruppanalvar, in his last song of Amalanadiviran, Kondal Vandanai, Kovalanai, Venna Undavayan, Yen Nullam Kavarandhanai, Andargon Adiyarangan, Yen Namudinai Kandagangal, Mattonnai Kana, Yen Namudinai Kandagangal. Now I sight Krishna, Kandagangal. My eyes will not look upon anybody else. Kandagangal, Mattonnai Kana. These eyes will not wander. Ears would not wander. Hands would not expect to touch anything else. So all our sensual organs get absorbed in him. That's what happens when we have his darshan provided. We are not hindered. We are not stopped by our karma. Or even if our karma is an obstacle in the path, we take a decision using our free will to have his darshan and improve bhakti. If that happens, all this would follow. So vratam amunchata, the rishis stopped their vratam. Homam amunchata, all the maharishi, they all stopped the homa. Sarvam amunchata, everyone abandoned everything. Then they all came to look at Krishna. When rishis can come to look at Krishna, when the great Brahmana noble souls can stop penances, can stop meditation, will not these loving girls of Gokula stop everything and come running to Krishna? That's the reason they came rushing. இதுக்கு கைமுத்திக நியாயம்னு பேர். If that itself can happen, why not this? See, all the rishis were all very tough Brahmanas. Of course, you know about them. If tough Brahmanas melted and came running to Krishna, why not all these already melted Gopikastris? They are already in love with Krishna. They are waiting for a moment to reach Krishna. It would happen. இதுக்கு தண்டாபூபன்யாயம்னு சொல்லுவா. வேடிக்கையாக ஒன்று சொல்கிறேன். ஒரு குச்சி, 4 வடை. ஒரு ஆச்சாரியன் 4 சிஷ்யாளோட கோவிலுக்கு போனார். வடை கொடுத்தார். 2 வடையை சாப்பிட்டார். இன்னி வடை நாளைக்கு இன்னும் நல்லா இருக்கும் தெரியுமோ? தர்மசாஸ்திரப்படி அது சாப்பிடக்கூடாது. இன்னைக்கு முடிச்சுடணும். இருந்தாலும் இருக்கே, புளியோதரை இன்னையை விட நல்லா இருக்கும், கொஞ்சம் வெத்த குழம்பு இன்னையை விட நாளைக்கு இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் நல்லா இருக்கும். இதெல்லாம் ஒரு வழக்கம் வச்சுட்டு இருக்க முடியும். விடவே கூடாது. நான் சொல்றேங்கிறதுக்காக நாளிலேருந்து பண்ணலான்னு பார்க்காதீங்க. எப்படி 7 நாளைக்கு நீங்க பொட்டிக்குள்ள வச்சுட்டு இருக்கீங்க, அது இருக்கவே இருக்கும் இல்லையா? எல்லாரும் இப்போ ஒரு வெத்த குழம்பு, ஒரு நாளைக்கு ஒரு குழம்பு பண்ணுவா, சாப்பிடுவா. ஒரு இடத்துக்கு போயிருந்தேன். சாமி, பருப்பு குழம்பு சாப்பிட்றீரா, மோர் குழம்பு சாப்பிட்றீரா, வெத்த குழம்பு சாப்பிட்றீரான்னா ரொம்ப ஆச்சரியமா இருந்தது. விருந்தோம்பல் ரொம்ப பட்டாட்டோப்பமா இருக்கே, இவ்வளவு தூரம் 3 குழம்பு பண்ணி வச்சிருக்காளேன்னா. எங்க அத்தை வந்திருந்தா போன வாரம் வெத்த குழம்பு பண்ணா, எங்க அம்மா வந்திருந்தா 3 நாள் மணிக்கு மோர் குழம்பு. அவ 3 நாள் முன்னாடி 7 நாள் வந்தா உங்ககிட்ட எப்படி இருக்குன்னா, ஓ நான் 1 மாசத்துதெல்லாம் வச்சிருக்கேன், நீர் என்ன இப்ப 1 வாரத்தை பத்தி பேசுறீர்கள், சாப்பிடவே கூடாது. கைண்ட்லி அப்ஸ்டெயின் ஃப்ரம் தட். Krishna condemns all this food. He clearly says that if you cook in the morning, you have to eat and finish by the afternoon. Cook in the evening, finish by the night. That's all. You cannot hold your morning food to the night. You should not hold your night food to the next day morning. So are we not supposed to hold the uncleaned utensils. பாத்திரத்தை அன்னைக்கு ராத்திரி தான் தேய்ச்சாகணும். கார்த்தால பாத்திரத்தை சாயங்காலத்துக்குள்ள தேய்க்கணும், சாயங்கால பாத்திரத்தை ராத்திரி தேய்ச்சணும். ராத்திரி பாத்திரம் போட்டு வச்சுட்டு படுக்க போறதே தப்பு. இத மகாபாரதத்தில் ருக்மிணி தேவியும் திரௌபதியும் பேசிக்கிறா. யாரு இப்ப ஒருத்தருக்கு பார்த்துக்கவே வேண்டாங்க. இதுதான் உண்மை. இது நான் பார்த்துக்கிட்டே, இது பார்த்துன்றது திரௌபதியும் ருக்மிணியும். இது அவா 2 பேரும் பார்த்து சொல்லிட்டு தான், அவ்வளவுதானே தவிர என்னை வச்சு கூடாது, நான் நாளை கார்த்தால கிளம்பிட போறேன். அதனாலதான் இன்னைக்கு சொல்றேன். இந்த நேற்றுக்கு சொன்னேன்னா பார்த்தீங்களா, முந்தா நான் சொன்னேனோ, எல்லாத்தையும் ஏன் இன்னைக்கு சொல்லிட்டு இருக்கேன்னா கிளம்பிடுவேன் இல்லையா, அதுக்குள்ள மறந்து போயிடுவேங்கிறதுக்காக தான். இப்போ ஆக when Krishna entered that glorious kingdom, all forgot. Why did they forget? When you have darshan of Krishna, we do forget. அப்ப அதுவே நடந்தா, இந்த கதையை முடிச்சுடுறேன். தண்டாபூபன்யாயம் சொன்னேனோ இல்லையோ. அதனால ஆச்சாரியன் போனார், 4 வடை, 2 வடையை சாப்பிட்டுட்டார். பாக்கி 2 வடையை கீழே வச்சா எலி எடுத்துன்னு படுத்துனா, அதனால குச்சியில கோத்து உத்தரத்தை மாட்ட சொன்னார். மாட்டிவிட்டா. மறுநாள் கார்த்தால சாப்பிடணும்னு ஆசை. போய் வடையை எடுத்துன்னு வான்னு சிஷ்யாட்ட சொன்னார். சிஷ்யம் போனான், பார்த்தான், குச்சியே காணும். வடையை காணல், குச்சியே காணும். வந்த ஆச்சாரியத்துல, சுவாமி குச்சியே காணும்னா, அது போனா போறது, வடை இருக்கான்னார் அவர். சிஷ்யன் சொன்னா, குச்சியே காணும்னா வடையா இருக்க போறது, குச்சியை எடுத்துன்னு போன பெருச்சாளி வடையை சேர்த்துதான் எடுத்துன்னு போகும். இதுதான் கதை. அத போல அந்த ஆண்களான மகரிஷிகளே ஓடி வந்துட்டாள்னால் பெண்களான இந்த குழந்தைகள் போகாதிருப்பாளா? அத போனார். இதுதான் சுகாச்சாரி இப்ப சொல்ல வர. So they all rushed and reached Krishna. Let me continue. Antargrihagataha kaschit gopyah alabdha vinirgamaha Krishnam tad bhavanayuktaha dadyurmilita lochanaha dussaha preshta viraha tivratapa dhruta shubhaha dhyana praptyachyuta shlesha nirvritya kshinamangalaha. Unfortunately, this is a shloka about one girl, one Gopika Stri. She had been named later as Chintayanti. This is the story of Chintayanti, but it has been indirectly, not explicit here, implicit. It has been implied by Shukacharya, and he talks about a girl by name Chintayanti. Chintayanti also abandoned all her jobs. She went out rushing. Unfortunately, her mamiyar, mother-in-law, and grandmother-in-law, great-grandmother-in-law, upper mother-in-law, lower mother-in-law, they were all sitting. Chinna mamiyar, periya mamiyar, anta mamiyar, ellarum anganathu ukkanda she could not cross them. She had to respect them, so she could not cross. She stood. She could neither go inside to mind her job, nor rush outside to reach Krishna. She was caught in between. She had to respect the elders. She didn't move. She stood there. Slowly she started weeping. Tears rolled down her cheeks. Why? Due to two reasons. One, she heard the great flute, the music of Krishna. She was so happy. Whenever you are happy, whenever you are whenever you enjoy, then you clean all your punyas. Your punyas get spent. Whenever you suffer, your papas get spent. This is how we spend our punya and papa. So she enjoyed the music. She exhausted all her punya. She thought for a while, I am unable to be as close to Krishna to enjoy this music. I am an unfortunate girl. So she was so worried and she suffered. And that suffering cleaned her of all her papas. Once all punya and papa got cleared, what else will tie you down to this material world? There's only the karma that ties you down. Now that she has exhausted both karmas, tada vidwan, punya pape vidhuya, niranjana paramam samyam upaiti. Once a vidwan, a learned, a realized soul, sheds both his papa and punya, he immediately reaches Shivaikuntha. Punya pape vidhuya, niranjana paramam samyam upaiti. As he becomes blemishless, paramam samyam upaiti, he gets equated to Swaminarayan in his abode. That happened. So when Krishna started, he has only decided to play the sport of Raasa Leela. Even for this decision, one soul has been realized now. One soul was released from samsara. Chintayanti Jagat Sutim. Immediately she reached Shivaikuntha. So this happened. She could not go inside, not go outside. Now did he perform Bhakti Yoga? Any Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Sharanagati? Nothing at all. But what reached her to Vaikuntham? Intense thirst. That's all. Bhagavan did not expect anything more. And that thirst was expressed in how many days? In minutes, in moments. She was able to express that intense. You need not express even. If you have that, Bhagavan will notice it. There is no need for us to express. He is after all omniscient. He is a Sarvajna. So he noticed that. Now, will Krishna call for someone? Will he send an ambulance van? Will he send any doctor? Not at all. Around the world, many reach Vaikuntham every moment. That all happens with the knowledge and blessings of Krishna. But he never shares that with others. Instead, once in a blue moon or a full moon, he shares all those incidents with rishis. Rishis note them down. They record it in Itihasa and Purana so that they become the guidance note and the inspirational note for others. Here is where Chintayanti, she was able to reach. Can I not reach? Here is a potman who reached. The pot too also reached. Should I not reach? Unless these things are recorded and available to us, how will we be inspired? The only inspiration we have is Prahlada. Although was a 5-year-old boy, he was able to have darshan. Dhruva, he tried just for 5 months. He was able to have the divine darshan of Krishna. So I too, if I have some divinity in me, if I have some intimate love towards him, of course I will be absorbed by Bhagavan. So these are the inspiration, source of inspiration to one of us, to all of us. Antar grihagataha kaschit. So Chintayanti reached Vaikuntha. Tameva paramatmanam jarabudhyapi sangataha jahur gunamayam deham sadhyaha prakshina bandhanaha. With what mood? In what mood did all these gopikas rush towards Krishna? Was he their husband? Was he their brother? Was he their son? Not at all. With what mood did they reach Krishna? Jara Buddhya, Jara Purusha. Tamil lo Sharanamna Kalla Purusha. English lo Sharanamnal Jara Purusha is a gallant lover who is not a husband. He is not a husband, but he is a paramour. He is only a gallant lover. So they all reached Krishna thinking that he was their lover. He was not their husband, and they were all married. They were married, they had their own husband, but still they thought Krishna as their lover and rushed. Is it right for this to happen? Is it accepted by Dharma Shastra? Now when we get this question, even before us, Raja Parikshit questions Shukacharya. Krishnam viduhu param kantam natu brahmataya mune guna pravaha uparamatastasam gunadhiyam Katham? I have a doubt here. Oh Shukacharya, did all these girls reach Krishna with a thought that Krishna is Brahman? Unless you reach Brahman, realizing that he is Brahman, will I get liberated? I should not be. But they all reached Krishna thinking as a lover. That's all. Now, will it reach them to Vaikuntha? This was the inquiry of Parikshit. Shukacharya replies, yes, it happens. Uktam purastad etatte chaitya siddhim yatagataha dushannapi rishikesham kimuta adhokshaja priyaha agena kaimuti nyaya. The same nyaya. If that could have happened, why not this? Again the same question. If Shishupala, who showed hatred towards Krishna throughout his life, if he could in a moment reach Vaikuntha, by what? Dushannapi. He only hate and hate. That was throughout his life. With that hate, if he could reach Krishna, what did these gopikas do? Love, love and love. With love, will they not reach Krishna? If with hate someone can reach Vaikuntham, why not these gopikas with divine, with true love, with pure love? Kimuta adhokshaja priyaha drinam nishreyasarthaya vyaktir bhagavato nrupa. Kamam, this is a very key verse. Kamam, krodham, bhayam, sneham, aikyam, sauhridamevacha. Nityam haro vidadataha. Yanti tanmayatam hite. Yanti tanmayatam. I become one part and parcel with Bhagavan. When? Tanmayata, reaching Vaikuntha, liberating. Yanti tanmayatam. When do I get liberated? When do I get samyapatti? What happens when we reach Vaikuntha? That's a very key issue here. What happens to all of us when we reach Vaikuntha? We are blessed with equanimity, with equality to God. Equal to God? Will I be seated on Adisesha? Will I fly on Garuda from the next day? Will I start creating this earth from next day? I won't do all those. I will only be a servant. I will still be serving my Lord. But I get equated to Paramatma in 8 divine qualities. Apahata papma, vijaraha, vimrutyuhu, vishokaha, vijigitsaha, apipasaha, satyakamaha, satyasankalpaha. I get equated to Bhagavan in Anandam, in his eternal bliss. I no more suffer, no misery at all, no thirst, no hunger, no papa, no old age, no birth, no death. Whatever I think, I am able to accomplish. Whatever I decide, I am able to achieve. So these are the great qualities of Paramatma. When this jiva gets released and becomes a mukta, he gets equated to Paramatma in these 8 qualities. I cannot become a Shriyapati. Please note, he would remain to be a Shriyapati. I cannot become Vaikunthanatha. He would remain to be a Vaikunthanatha. I cannot become a master. He would remain to be a master. But only in these 8 qualities I get equated. Idukku Samyapatti nu per. Advaita talks about Aikyam Mukti. Vishittadvaita talks about Samyapatti Mukti. Aikyam is becoming one. It was not two. It was never two. But it was illusioned to be two. Now that the illusion is cleared, it becomes one. This is Advaitam. Whereas Vishittadvaitam says, two is always true. Paramatma is also real. Jivatma is also real. This jiva got entangled due to his karma in cycles of birth. Now that he is released of this karma, he becomes equated to Paramatma and realizes that he is a body of Paramatma, and as a body would serve his master, so does this Jivatma his master. So this is what we talk about, the difference between Vishishtadvaita and Advaita. In Advaita, the Tattva is one. There is only one Tattva, Eka Tattva Vada. But in Vishishtadvaita, Tattva Traya Vada. Eka Tattva would mean one Brahman is true. Jivatma and Brahman are one and the same. Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya, Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha, Iti Vedanta Dindimaha, Brahmam Ekameva Satyam. Jivatma, illusionary, like mirage. When I look at a distance, I see water, but it's not true. It's only a mirage. Kanal neer Tamil solram. Ada Mriga Trishnikana Sanskritla solluva. Ada pola ittana Jivatmakalatam theriyirudhu. Thocham. Idu thochame thavira Brahman and Atma are one and the same. Now that is not the concept of Vedanta. So Swami Ramanuja in his philosophy would mean there is no individual philosophy for Ramanuja or Shankaracharya or Madhvacharya. They will have to derive their philosophies only from the basic scripture. The scripture are Vedas and the Vedantas. So they say, whenever I reach Shivaikuntam, Ramanuja mentions, I become equated to Paramatma in 8 divine attributes. That's known as Samyapatti Moksha. There is another, Sayujyam Moksham. Sayujyam is along, in company with Brahman, Sriman Narayana, I enjoy the divine attributes of Narayana. This is known as Sayujya Mukti. Samyapatti Mukti, I get equated in 8. Sayujya Mukti, I enjoy his divine qualities along with him. Avibhagena Drishtatvat is a Brahma Sutra. Towards the end of Brahma Sutra, Avibhagena, I am inseparable from Paramatma, so I remain a part and parcel of Paramatma. Along with him, I enjoy his divine attributes. This is what happens to all of us when we reach there. Mama sadharmya magataha sargepi nopajayante pralayena vyathanti cha saha sadharmya shoshnute sarvan kaman sah brahmana. All these verses from Vedanta establish that we get Samyapatti Moksham. Now, these girls are blessed with Samyapatti in this material world. Please note the difference. Where is the Samyapatti? One Krishna, a Gopika. A Krishna, a Gopika. Is this not Samyapatti first? This is resembling Samyapatti. This is a token of Samyapatti. Now, they were able to enjoy. What would they enjoy when they reach Vaikuntham? We are not blessed with that joy. Whereas Krishna blessed these Gopikas in this material world. When Gopikas alternated Krishna, when who is predominant? Who will win here? When you look at 2 Krishnas, then one Gopika is lesser in number, so she should lose. When you count 2 Gopikas, then Krishna is lesser in number, then he has to lose. Who would lose? Both would win. No one would lose. Both would win here. When this Jivatma reaches Paramatma and gets equated to Paramatma, it is not lose-win or win-lose situation. It's a win-win situation. It's a victory for Paramatma as well as a longing success story for this Jivatma. So when you look at Rasa Krida, what should you realize? You must realize this is a token of Samyapatti. It resembles a Samyapatti that we are blessed in Shivaikuntha. Anganam antare madhavaha madhavam madhavancha antarena angana. Anganam antare madhavaha. Angana, a cowherdess. Angana, another Gopika. Antare madhavaha. In between, flanked by them. Antare madhavaha. Madhava stands. Anganam antare madhavaha. Madhavam madhavancha antarena angana. Here is Madhava and the next Madhava. Flanked by 2 Madhavas. In between there is a Gopika. Anganam antare Madhava. Madhavam madhavancha antarena angana. Now tell me, here is a riddle. Is Krishna more in number here or the Gopika more in number? Both are equal. When I say both are equal, what does it resemble? Samyapatti in Shivaikuntha. Similarly, take the case of Arjuna's great white chariot. Krishna was the charioteer. Arjuna was the master, the owner of this chariot. Who is first? If you count Krishna as he is seated in front, then Krishna is the master. But if you count Arjuna as the owner of the chariot, after all, Krishna was only the charioteer. He was not the owner. So if you look at Arjuna as the owner, then he would win. Look at Arjuna as the one who is steering the chariot, driving the chariot from the front, then he would win. So this is again a win-win situation. Both Krishna enjoys importance in one aspect. Arjuna enjoys importance from another aspect. Similar is the case with Nammalvar Salvar Tirunagari. அதையும் அப்படியே தான் சொல்லுவோம். Omkaram Pranavam. When you take Pranava, A is before. It comes first. Ma, the Jivatma, comes later. If you see that A stands in front, then importance is to A, Mahavishnu. Akarartho Vishnu. But more important is, A may be in front, but is the beneficiary A? When I preach Omkara Pranava, who is the recipient? Not certainly Paramatma. Recipient is the Jivatma. So who will receive this preaching and mend his ways? Jivatma. Who will reach Paramatma? Jivatma. Although Jivatma is behind, in realization and being the beneficiary, he scores much higher. Whereas Krishna Akara is sitting in front. So even Omkara Pranava, it's very difficult to decide between the two. The tussle is too close. Akara and Makara are held in equal esteem. Similarly, in Nammalvar's Alvar Tirunagari, do you know the name of that Devasthanam? Come to Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam. Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam. Venkateshaya Namaha. You will always recite the same. Go to some other Devasthanam, say Alvar Devasthanam, Acharya Devasthanam, Kumbhakonam Devasthanam, Aramud Alvar, Chakrapani Devasthanam, Sarangapani Devasthanam, Nagapattinam, Saundaraja Perumal Devasthanam. But when you come to Alvar Tirunagari, it's very peculiar. You'll be surprised to see Alvar Adinathar Devasthanam. The Devasthanam is named as Alvar Adinathar. Adinathar is the presiding deity. Moolamurti Andurle. Alvar Adinathar Devasthanam. இது எனக்கு ரெண்டு பேர் ஆழ்வார் தொண்டர் தானே, ஆதிநாதர் தலைவர் தானேன்னார் வாஸ்தவம். ஆனால் அந்த ஊரில் எவ்வளவுக்கு எவ்வளோ ஆதிநாதனுக்கு பிரபாவமோ, ஆழ்வார் என்ஜாய்ஸ் ஈக்குவல் இம்பார்ட்டன்ஸ் ஆஸ் ஆதிநாதா. ஸோ இட்ஸ் நோன் அஸ் ஆழ்வார் ஆதிநாதர் தேவஸ்தானம். When you look at that name, it resembles Samyapatti Moksham. When you look at Raasa Mandala, it resembles Samyapatti Moksham. Now when you see Omkara, that too resembles Samyapatti Moksham. When you look at the chariot of Arjuna, இதெல்லாம் various examples. அர்ஜுனனுடைய தேர்தட்டு, ராசமண்டலம், ஆழ்வார் திருநகரி திருக்குருகூர், பிரணவம். You can equate all these four because all these four equate in a way Paramatma and Jivatma. அதுதான் இப்போ நாம புரிஞ்சுக்க வேண்டியது. Come to Srivilliputturu. Have you had darshan of Srivilliputturu? When you come, you find Rangamannar standing in between Andal and Garuda. One Rangamannar, to the right of Rangamannar is Andal, to the left of Rangamannar is Garuda. What does it talk of? What do they represent? Akarartho Vishnu. Rangamannar is represented by A. Garuda, the Jivatma, is represented by Ma. Mahalakshmi. Lakshmi's Amsha is Andal. Andal represents Ukara. Akara, Ukara, Makara, you can find on a raised dais, on a raised, ஒரே ஒரு சிங்காசனத்தில், you can find A, U, Ma together, which sounds like, which reverberates like Om, the Pranava. If Pranava can be embodied, if Pranava can be physically represented, it's so easy. You come to Srivilliputturu, you will find the physical representation. Unless things are physically shown, we don't believe. இது பெருமாளுக்கு ரொம்ப நாளாக தெரியும். அதனால் எதுக்கு எடுத்தாலும் அங்கங்கே இப்படி ஏதான்னு வச்சுட்டு அதை பார்த்துக்கோ, இங்கே வச்சுக்கோ, இங்கே போயிட்டு வா. அப்போ தான் நான் சொன்னது ஒன்று புரிய போகிறது. இப்போ வெறும்மா படித்து பார்த்தியானா ஒன்றும் புரியாது. போய் பார்த்துட்டு வா, தெரிஞ்சுன்னு வா. அதை போல தான் இப்போ ராசமண்டலம், அர்ஜுனனுடைய திருத்தேர் தட்டு, திருக்குறுகூர் ஆழ்வார் திருநகரி, ஓங்காரமாகிற பிரணவம், 4 இடத்துலையும் ஈக்வானிமிட்டி. பரமாத்மா அண்ட் ஜீவாத்மா, ஜீவாத்மா என்ஜாய்ஸ் சாம்யாபத்தி மோக்ஷா. So the concept behind the pastime Rasa Krida is Samyapatti Moksham. அப்படிங்கிறது மட்டும் நல்லா ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கோ. காமம், குரோதம், பயம், ஸ்நேகம், ஐக்கியம், சௌஹிருதமேவச்ச. How can we get related to Krishna? Not only by love, not only by affection. There is much more to it. There are many more ways to it. Kamam, by lust, by desire towards Krishna. Krodham, by angry towards Krishna. I can yell at him, but still reach him. That's what Shishupala did. So he showed hatred, absolute hatred to Krishna. Still he reached Bhayam. I am afraid of Krishna. Sneham, I am so friendly with Krishna. Aikyam, I would like to become one with Krishna. Sauhridam, I am a well-wisher of Krishna. Evacha, Nityam Haro Vidadataha. Now you can display any of these qualities with Krishna. Kamam, Krodham, Bhayam, Sneham, Aikyam, Sauhridamevacha, Nityam Haro Vidadataha. Yanti Tanmayatam Hite. Whatever in quality you display or the relationship you realize, you are with him. You reach him. Let it be anything. அப்போ இதில் எதுவாக இருந்தாலும் அடையலாம். நச்சைவம் விஸ்மய காரியா பவதா பகவத்யஜே யோகேஸ்வரேஸ்வரே கிருஷ்ணே யத ஏதது விமுஞ்சதே. ஹோ பரீட்சித், now do you realize that there was nothing wrong in the Gopika Strees reaching Krishna? You can show any relationship to him. You can show any mood towards him. Any mood is a good mood if it's towards him. Anything is good if it is intense. நம்மகிட்ட என்ன ஆபத்துனால் எதுவுமே இன்டென்ஸாக இருக்காது. நம்ம ஐக்கியம் காட்டினாலும் சக்கியம் காட்டினாலும் வெஷாலும் சரி, வெயிலாமா வேண்டாமா, சரி அன்பா இருந்தாலும் சரி, ரொம்ப அன்பா இருந்தா கூட்டிட்டு வரும், இது வேற ஒரு பயம். இப்போ சொல்லி வச்சிருவா யாரான்னு, இப்போ பெருமாள் பெருமாள் கிட்டக்க போகாதே, போனியானா அவர் ரொம்ப கிட்டக்க வரவாள் தான் அதிகமாக சோதிப்பார். பார் அவர்கள் வீட்டில் இந்த மாதிரி ஆயிடுது, பரீட்சையே ஃபெயிலாம், ஆனாலும் இந்த பிள்ளை அங்கே போய் பெருமாள் வேலை பண்ணுறேன்னு போனா ஒன்றுமே நடக்கலையான்னு துக்கம் விசாரிக்காப்புல வந்துருவா. இது ஏதோ ஒன்று நடக்கும். இவன் படிக்கல, இவன் 35 வாங்கிட்டு வந்திருப்பான். அதுக்கு அவன் ஏதோ 2 நாள் கோவிலுக்கு போயிட்டு வந்திருந்தான்னா, பத்தியா இதுக்குத்தான் போவே வேண்டான்னு சொன்னேன்னா, நம்ம ஏற்கனவே ரொம்ப வீக்கா நினைச்சிட்டு இருக்கோமா, இப்படி ஒண்ணு வந்த உடனே சரி சரி வேண்டவே வேண்டாம், ஒழுங்கா படிக்கிற வேலையை பாரு, பெருமாள் சிரிச்சுட்டு இருப்பார், வலையில சிக்கினுட்டான். அதான் நடந்தது. இப்போ அவர் பெரிய வலை விதிச்சு வச்சிருக்கார், சம்சாரம்ங்கிற வலையில நாம சிக்கினுட்டோம்னா எது இருந்தாலும் இன்டென்ஸ், தட்ஸ் வெரி இம்பார்ட்டன்ட். இஃப் இட்ஸ் so intimate, if you are really bent upon achieving it, that would happen. Ta drishtanti sa drishtva antikamayata bhagavan vrajayoshita avadat vadatam shrestha vachah paishair vimohayan. Shri Bhagavan uvacha. When all gopikas reached Krishna, slowly Krishna started conversing with them. He questioned, Swagatam vo mahabhagaha, welcome you all. I welcome you, but I do not know why should I welcome you. Why did you reach here? He first welcomed, then said, you have to return. Now that the welcome is over, can you all return to your homes? Why? Priyam kim karavani vaha. What good can I be of use to you? Can I be of any use to you? What can I do for you? Vrajasyanama anamayan kwaschit bruta agamana karanam. Can you now tell me what is the reason for you all coming? Tadyatam achiram goshtam shushrushatvam patin satihi. Don't you know it's very imperative that you feed your children? It's so important, it's your duty to take care of the elders. Why did you leave them? Why did you come here? Bhartuhu shushrushanam strinam paro dharmo kyamayaya. Bhartu shushrushanam. Whatever your bharta needs, you will have to help him. Without helping him, why did you reach here? Dushyilaha, durbhagaha, vruddhaha, jadaha, rogyaha, adhanovapiva, rogyadhanopiva, patistribhirna khatavyaha, lokepsu bhirapataki. Let your husband be dushyilaha, of a bad character. Durbhagaha has nothing to part with you. Vruddhaha is too old. Jadaha is a dud. Rogi is unhealthy. He is a sick person. Adhanaha is a pauper. Let him be anyone, but still you should not have left him. என்னமோ அந்த பெண்கள்லாம் இதெல்லாம் எங்க கணவன் சொன்னதுக்காக சொன்னாப்புல இவர் சொல்லிட்டு இருக்காரு. அவ சொல்லவே இல்லை இதெல்லாம் ஒண்ணுமே. இவரா இதெல்லாத்தையும் லிஸ்ட், இப்படி எல்லாம் இருந்தா கூட நீ விட்டு வந்துடக்கூடாது, எதுக்காக நீ அவளாரையும் விட்டுட்டு வந்து போங்க, திரும்பி போங்க. ஸ்ரவணாத்து தர்சனாத்து தியானான் மை பாவா அனுகீர்த்தனாத் நதாதா சன்னிகர்ஷேண பிரதியாத ததோ கிருஹான். Now, oh girls, let me enlighten you of one thing. Have you heard about the rishis? Do you know about the munis? Do you know how they meditate on me? They have their own ways carved out. Shravanat, they listen to me. They listen to glorious lectures. Darshanat, they look at me. Dhyanat, they meditate on me. Mayi bhavaha anukirtanat, they do bhajan. Appo, bhajan, meditation, darshan, listening, all these 4 are different modes of reaching Krishna. In fact, these are well established. Rather than staying close to me, my intimacy or staying close to me won't be effective. There were many people who have had my darshan, who have lived with me. All the Yadavas lived with me. They won't reach moksham. They are not at all. Whereas, probably even if you are in a remote place, if you meditate intensely, then you reach. If you perform bhajan, then you reach. If you have my darshan, one unable to retain it forever, then you reach me. So these are different methods which are sure to give you result. Whereas just looking at me and staying close to me may not fetch you the result. இப்படி வர சொல்லிட்டாரு இப்போ. ஆனா கோபி சொன்னது, you are right in the case of rishis and munis. We are not rishis and munis. We are cowherd girls here. So we know only to love you. We know only your physical form and not your transcendental swarupa. We are not bothered of your swarupa. All the gopikas and alvas were more absorbed with the rupam of Krishna rather than the swarupam of Krishna. Swarupam is the natural being. is what Krishna is. That's much greater than the Rupam. But any girl, ஒரு ஜாதகத்தை எடுத்து இந்த அங்கே நாங்கள் பிள்ளை பார்க்க போகிறோம் அப்படின்னு உடனே பொண்ணு முதல்ல என்ன சொல்லுவோம், வயசு என்ன, அது ரொம்ப இம்பார்ட்டன்ட். மற்றதெல்லாம் இருக்கு, படிப்பு கிடிப்பெல்லாம் இருந்தால் கூட என்ன வயசு, இந்த அக்டோபர்லேருந்து டிசம்பருக்குள்ளே பிறந்திருக்கணும், இருந்தால் ஜாதகம் பார். அவ்வளோ துல்லியமாக பார்க்கணுங்கிற அளவு இல்லையோ. என்னத்துக்குன்னா வயசு ரொம்ப முக்கியம், இளமை தேவை, அடுத்தது அழகு தேவை, அப்புறம் பணம், அப்புறம் படிப்பு, அப்புறம் குலம், அப்புறம் கோத்திரம். யாராக இருந்தாலும் முதல்ல வயசு கேட்பாடும் இல்லையோ. அதே போலத்தான் இங்கேயும் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஸ்ரவணாது தரிசனாது, when we are absorbed to you, it's because of your age and our age. We are girls, you are a boy. We are not Maharishis here. We are not tough enough as a Maharishi. No, we are not dry, but we are all melted. ஆர்திரதா நனைஞ்சிருக்கிறவா நாங்க. So nathata sannikarshena pratiyata tato grihan. Go back to your home. Sit there in a beautiful posture in Padmasana. From there meditate on me. ஒருத்தருக்கும் புரியல, ஏதோ பேசுறாரு போல் இருக்கு. சரினாச்சு இதி விப்ரியம் ஆகரண்ய. They listened something which they didn't like to listen at all. It was like poison to their ears. Gopya Govinda bhashitam vishanna bhagna sankalpaha, heart broken. They could not stay there anymore. They wanted to leave but could not leave. Krishna is pestering them to leave. Krutva mukhanyavashuchaha shashasena shushyat bimbhadarani charanena bhuvam likhantya. They wanted to move, they were pushed to move, but they didn't want to move. Should they move? Should they not move? Shukacharya says this looks like when Krishna robbed butter and he was caught red-handed by Yashoda. He was tied with a rope. Krishna wanted to run away from that scene, but he did not run away from that scene. Napagachannu natishtannu mithya gopaha sapati nayane milayan vishwagopta. Vedanta Deshika in his Gopala Vamshati mentions this ever memorable posture of Krishna. Napagachan natishtan. He could neither run, he could neither stand. If he runs, he had trouble. If he remains there, he had another trouble. If he runs away, then he can't have darshan of all these girls who have collected there. So he wanted to stay there. If he stays there, then these girls may hide the butter at home. Only if he reaches those homes, he can steal butter. If he stays here, then they will hide butter. But if he goes away from this place, then he cannot have darshan of all these girls. So he could neither move nor remain there. Similar is the situation to all gopikas now. They could neither move nor remain there. Napagachannu natishtannu iti vipriyam akarnya preshtham priyetaramiva pratibhashamanam krishnam tadartha vinivartita sarvakamaha maivam vibhorgati bhavan gadidum rishamsam. Oh Krishna, don't refuse. Don't return us. We would like to stay with you. Santyajya sarva vishayan stavapadamoolam. We have left everything and came rushing to your lotus feet. Why are you returning us? Yat patyapatya suhridam anuvrittiranga strinam swadharmayati dharmavidatvayoktam. You preached us that stri dharmam is pati bhakti. We understand. But the Shastras say patim vishwasya atmeshwaram. The Upanishads mention that Vishwapati is Shri Krishna, Atmeshwara is Krishna. We accept that we have to serve our Pati, and that's why we have reached here. Because you are our Pati. Kurvantihi tvairatim kushalasva atman nityapriye patisutadibiraditarteh vichittam sukhena bhavata apakritam griheshu yan nivarshyuta karavapi grihakritye. We thought you will lift us from this samsara sagara, whereas you are asking us to return to samsara sagara. If you go back home, that's samsara. If we reach you, it's away from samsara. Then you, one who has to lift us from samsara, why are you returning us to samsara? நீ தானே தூக்கணும். ஆனா நீயே திருப்பி அன்பரிய பார்த்துக்கப்போ யர்ஹ்யம்புஜாக்ஷ தவபாத தலம் ரமாயா தத்த க்ஷணம் क्वचिद அரண்ய ஜனப்ரியஸ்ய. We were under the impression that we enjoy the same right with Mahalakshmi enjoys with you. Mahalakshmi enjoys certain liberties with Bhagavan. We also thought that we enjoy the same liberties. There is an axiom from Azhagi Manavala Perumal Nayanar in Acharya Hridayam. He says that Kadimamalar Pavayodulla Samya Shatkattale. In 6 aspects, we can be equated to Mahalakshmi. The aspects are expecting Bhagavan to bless, looking upon only Bhagavan for enjoyment, always surrendering to Bhagavan, once separated, unable to bear, when in union, enjoy, always controlled by Bhagavan. These 6 are the aspects always enjoyed by Mahalakshmi. So we too can enjoy all the 6. We thought we enjoy, but now you say you don't enjoy the duties or you don't enjoy the liberties of Mahalakshmi. You return, we thought we enjoyed. Shrihi yat padambuja rajas chakrame tulasya labdvapi vakshasi padam kila bhujjajushtam bhrityajushtam yasyaha swavikshana krite nyasura prayasa tadvat vayancha tava padarajah prapannaha. We thought you had blessed many human beings with tulasi. You have blessed even Kaliya with your lotus feet. But don't we stand a chance at least equal to Kaliya to hold your lotus feet? Why is this happening to us? Tannaha prasida vrijirnadana vrijinardana te angri moolam prapta visrijya vasastistvad upasashasaha. Then the Gopikas talk about common dharma and special dharma. You have to take note of 2 different categories of dharma. One is a samanya dharma, other is a vishesha dharma. Samanya and vishesha, if they don't conflict, we have to follow both. If they conflict, then uphold vishesha dharma, keep samanya dharma for later. If I can give you an example, I have to perform Sandhyandanat at 5:45. I went to Srirangam, had darshan. Bhagavan was in a procession. It became 6, 6:15, 6:30 when the procession got over. I returned home. I can perform Sandhyandanam only at 6:45. But when I was following Bhagavan in his procession, can I think that it's 5:45 now? It's more important for me to do Sandhyandanam. Leave the procession. Parapada uttutu. Can I return home, do Sandhyandanam and go? I should not. Because there can be prayachittam for Sandhyandanam, no prayachittam for not following Ranganatha. போனதான் அது இப்போ நான் இப்போ எங்கேயோ ஒரு இடத்துல தப்பு பண்ணேன், பிராயசித்தம் பண்ணிடலாம். ரொம்ப அழகாக ஒருத்தர் திருவாய்மொழி பாடியிருந்தார் சுவாமி, ஆனால் சந்தியாவந்தனத்துக்காக விட்டு போயிட்டேன்னு ஒருத்தன் சொன்னான்னு வச்சுக்கோ. சொல்லிட்டார், கூரத்தாழ்வான் ஒரு நாள் அரோ திருவாய்மொழி பாடிட்டு இருக்கார் நின்று கேட்டுருந்தார், உருக்கமாக கேட்டுருந்தார். அப்போ சிஷ்யால் சொன்னார், சுவாமி நாழிகை எடுத்தே சந்தியாவந்தனத்துக்கு போகணும்னு. அவர் என்ன தெரியுமா பதில் சொன்னார்? நான் சந்தியாவந்தனம் பண்ணாத விட்டத்துக்கு பிராயசித்தம் தள்ளிடுவேன், திருவாய்மொழியை அனுபவிக்காத விட்டத்துக்கு பிராயசித்தம் இல்லையேன்னார் அவர். அதுக்கு என்ன பிராயசித்தம் பண்ண? 4 காயத்ரி சொன்னா திருவாய்மொழி அனுபவம் திரும்பி வந்துருமான்னு. அதனால ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கோ, சாமானிய தர்மா, விசேஷ தர்மா. If you are unable to hold samanya dharma, then hold vishesha dharma. Now, a word of caution. Caution is, please don't take this as a dictum or as an advice for abandoning samanya dharma. சொன்னார் சுவாமி, இப்போ ஒன்று செய்வோம், என்னன்னைக்கு 5:45 புறப்பாடு இருக்கோ அப்பவா போவோம். போனால் சந்தியாவந்தனம் பண்ணவே வேண்டாமா? ஏகாதசி அன்னைக்கு சாப்பிடக்கூடாது. அதே இப்போ கோவிலுக்கு போகிறச்சே துளசி கொடுத்தா வயலில் போட்டுக்கிறதா வேண்டாமா? பெருமாள் பிரசாதம் கொடுத்துருக்கா, போட்டு தான் ஆகணும். துளசி மட்டுமா? பொங்கலும் கொடுத்தா வச்சுங்களேன், கொடுத்துட்டா போட்டுக்கலாமா வேண்டாமா? கொஞ்சம் சாப்பிட்டு தான் சுவாமி ஆகணும். ஆனால் பகவத் பிரசாதம் கொடுத்துருக்கா, போட்டு. இது நியாயம். ஆனால் ஒருத்தர் என்ன பண்ணி ஏகாதசி அன்னைக்கு கோவிலில் கொடுத்துன்னு இருக்கணும்னு சொன்னாருட்டான். அவ்வளோதான். கோயில் இல்லா ஊரில் குடியிருக்க வேண்டாம், ஏகாதசி அன்னைக்கு கோயிலேயே குடியிருக்கலாம் என்றா அப்போ அங்கேயே இருக்க வேண்டியதான். கார்த்தால புளியோர, மத்தியானம் தத்தியோன, ராத்திரி உப்மான் ஆயிடுத்துனா அது அர்த்தம் இல்லையோ. இப்போ சாமானிய தர்மத்துக்கும் விசேஷ தர்மத்துக்கும் if at all there is a conflict, I am only talking about that. இதே if there is no procession the next day, then of course you will very well do your Sandhya Mandaram at 5:45. This is only in the case of conflict. So citing these as the cases now, Gopikas represent. They say, taking care, serving our parents, elders is Samanya Dharma for us. Intimate relationship with you and Raasa Krida is Vishesha Dharma for us. When there is a conflict, we have to decide. We took that call, we had abandoned Samanya Dharma, now we have come to Vishesha Dharma. This was the talk of all the Gopikas, Tannaha, Prasida, Vrijinardana, Te Angri Moolam, the beauty. Your charm is absorbing. Your charm brought us here. Yat Godvija, Drumamirgaha, Pulakani, Abhibhran, Iti Viklavitam Tasam, Shrutva Yogeshwareshwara, prahasya sadayam gopihi atmaramopyaniramat. This is a golden word uttered by Shukacharya. He now convincingly states to Parikshit that there was no physical relationship between any Gopika and Krishna. Reason one being, all the Gopikas were 6 in their age, Krishna was 8 in his age, so no physical relationship is possible even. Atma Ramo Pyariramat. Atma Rama, Indriya Rama. Please note these two names. Bhagavan is an Atma Rama. We are all Indriya Rama. Arama, a garden of pleasure. Indriya Rama, all our sensual organs are garden of pleasure. So if we gain pleasure from Indriya Sukha, we are called as Indriya Rama. Arama, Indriya Rama. Atma Arama, if you gain pleasure through Atma Anubhava, you are known as Atma Rama. So now Shukacharya names Krishna as Atma Rama. He is not an Indriya Rama, he is an Atma Rama. பேர் வச்சுப்பாடா இப்போ பார்த்துருக்கீங்க இல்லையா? ஆத்மாராமன் ஆத்மாராமன் பேர் வச்சுப்பா. ஆத்மா ராமன் இல்லை அது, நம்ம அதான் தப்பா புரிஞ்சுடுவோம். ஆத்மா ராமன், ஆத்மா ஆராம, ஆராமன காடம், ஆத்மா ஆத்மாவே காடம். அப்படின்னா அனுபவத்துக்கு இடம் ஆத்மா, சரீரம் இல்லை. Gopikas and Krishna were never physically united. They were only mentally and Atma to Atma. This is an Atma Sambandha, Atma Paramatma Anubhava, and not a Jiva Sharira and Paramatma Sharira Anubhava. Atma Ramo Pyariramad Tabhi Sametabhi Udara Chettitaha Priyakshanotpulla Mukhibhir Achyutaha Udara Hasa Vijakunda Didi Gujakunda Didi Vyarochatainanka Ivodubir Vritaha. Krishna slowly என்ன பண்ணாரும் அந்த இடத்துல சொல்லு. முதல்ல தமிழை சொல்லிவிடு, எனக்கு அவ்வளோ தூரம் இது இப்போ டெக்னிக்கலாக எனக்கு சொல்ல தெரியாது. இப்போ இருந்தாலும் முதல்ல சொல்கிறேன். கண்ணு சிமிட்டுறோம், விங்க் ஆஃப் அன் ஐ, உதட்ட குவித்து சீட்டி அடிப்போம், ஒரு சத்தம் எழுப்புற மூலியம். அதெல்லாம் பண்ணால் ஊரில் என்ன பண்ணுவா? பிடிச்சுன்னு விட மாட்டாளா? பார்வத்தரை பார்த்து கண் அடிக்கிறோம், 2 கண்ணையும் அடித்தா சிமிட்டுறோன்னு அர்த்தம், 1 கண் அடைச்சா தான் ஆபத்துன்னு அர்த்தம். அப்போ 1 கண் அடித்து ஒருத்தரை வான்னு சொன்னாலோ, இல்லை ஒரு விரலை கூட்டு அப்படி பண்ணாலோ, சொடுக்கு போட்டு வான்னு சொன்ன தப்பு தானே? இதெல்லாம் தப்பு. கூரத்தாழ்வான் was a great saint, almost a saint. Although he was a grihastha, கூரத்தாழ்வான் in his Atimanusastava mentions this. Ingitam nimishitancha tavakam ramyam alankritam atipriyankaram tena kam samukha kita janmame. Ingitam nimishitancha davakavakam. When you wink your eye or when you raise a shilka oily whistle, when you raise a whistle with your with your lips, when you raise a whistle with your lips, ingitam nimishitancha tavakam, each and every minute anga chettita of yours, Krishna, ramyam alankritam atipriyankaram, it looks so glorious to me. I am absorbed in all those chettita. Ramyam alankritam, they look so beautiful. Atipriyankaram, they really absorb me. But if the same is done by any other boy, he had it. But if it's done by you, so the difference here is between Laukika and Vaidika, between materialism and spirituality. In materialism, we only notice the act. What is done? Whoever does it doesn't matter. If at all something wrong is done, arrest him. Whereas in the case of Paramatma, let him do anything. Did he do? That's very important. If he does, even robbing is right. If he does, lying is right. If he does, killing is right. If he does, whistling is right. If I do, it's wrong. Swami, romba anyaya Swami. இப்படி யாரானு சொல்லுவப்ப, இவா உடைச்சா மண் குடம், அவா உடைச்சா பொன் குடம். கேள்விப்பட்டிருக்கீங்களா? மருமகள் மாட்டு பொண்ணு உடைச்சா அது பொற்குடம்னு வளம், மாமியார் உடைச்சா மண்ணு குடம் தானே போனா பொறுத்துன்னு வளம். இந்த மாதிரி என்ன இருக்கு? இது பகவான் வாழிலிருந்து சத்தம் போட்டாருன்னா தப்பு, அது சரியா போடும். நாம் என்ன தப்பா போடுமானால் நிச்சயமா போகும். பிகாஸ் he is an akarmavasya. Again you have to land there. He is not affected by karma. இதெல்லாம் கர்மாதீனமா பண்ணா தப்பா போறது, அவர் பண்றது கிருபாதீனமாக. So ingitam nimishitancha tavakam ramyamalankritam atipriyankaram. You will have to think again and again and again in these terms to realize what Shukacharya is telling now. It's too difficult. We are all engrossed in this material law and order. நமக்கு தெரிஞ்சதெல்லாம் கவர்மெண்ட் போட்ட law and order. We have forgotten Manu Dharma Shastram law and order. We have to go back to that, visit our roots. Open Manu Dharma Shastram, open Vedanta. Then it will tell you what is the relationship we enjoy with Bhagavan. We all enjoy a Bhartru Bharya relationship, a glorious relationship. Bhagavan is Bharta, we are all his Bharyas. He is the only Purushottama husband, and we all belong to him. We are all his wives. So, ho Krishna, Udarahasa, Dvijakundatihi, Nadyah Pulinamavishya, Gopi Bir Himavalukam, Reme Tat Taralananda, Kumudavoda Vayuna. Krishna invited them. Let me give them that pleasure for a short while. So, Krishna invited them to a raised platform. Their platform was raised with mud. It was a sand dune like structure. So, Krishna invited all. Here was Yamuna, there was Chandra, it was Sharash Chandra, autumn, and Chandra was beautiful in that autumn season. Time was about 7:30 in the night. Krishna prepared. All the gopis encircled him. Krishna multiplied himself to many forms. Then he started, Evam Bhagavataha, Krishna Labdhamana Mahatmanaha, Atmanam Menire Strinam, Maninyo Abhyatigam Bhuvi. For a moment, all these gopikas, they felt very haughty. They thought, it is we who are with Krishna, none other on earth. When they thought so, they become ahankaris. They became. Krishna noticed that. But still, he kept quiet. Tasam tat saubhagamadam vikshamanam cha keshavaha prashamaya prasadaya tatraiva antaradhiyata. A moment, he saw that they are all turning to be ahankarans. Then he decided, let me teach a lesson to all these girls. Let me put them to their place. Ava bhaattukku ennamo nenachirukka. Avala naja ulagathu kondaram tatraiva antaradhiyata. He vanished there quickly. Now, suddenly Krishna was not found. They never expected this to happen. Next Adhyaya, Shukacharya says, Yamuna Puline Antarhite Bhagavati Sahasaiva Vrajangana Atampyams Avachakshana Karinyaiva Yuthapam. As a female elephant lost the male elephant, as that would go in search of the male elephant, all these girls started in search of Krishna. They imitated Krishna. Now, how do they bear the pranks of separation? They are separated from Krishna. They are unable to bear the separation. They have to do something to reduce their agony. What did they do? Anukaram is one mode where you reduce the agony. Anukaram, if you can call in English as imitation or enacting a drama. That's Anukaram. Anukaram yaro irundar Ramanata Anukaram pandrathu, Kannanata Anukaram pandrathu. All these gopikas for a while assumed that Krishna was with them. They started enacting a drama as though Krishna is with them. But in truth, Krishna was not. In reality, Krishna was not with them. Drushtova vaha kvachid ashwatha plaksha nyagrodha no manaha nandasunur gato hatva prema hasavalokanaihi. Then they went ahead. They spotted each and every tree. Creepers, wish-granting creepers, grass that's grown on earth. They touched the grass. It looked like goosebumps to Mother Earth. Bhuma Devi's goosebump has grown as grass. Why did it happen? When a newly married couple, when the husband touches the wife, will she not have goosebumps? Similarly, when Krishna went away, he strongly placed his foot on Bhuma Devi. Bhuma Devi is a new Vadhu. So Krishna touched Bhuma Devi with his feet. Immediately she had goosebumps. And those goosebumps are now transformed to be grasses. Oh grass, you are so fortunate to be a goosebump of Bhuma Devi, whereas we are not fortunate enough. Dushtva vaha kvachit tulasi kalyani govinda charana priye. Oh, the holy basil, Tulasi, you are so fond of Krishna and Krishna is fond of you. You are known as Keshava Priya. You are also called as Krishna Priya, whereas we are Krishna Priya now. You are only Krishna Priya. நம்ம திருவாராதனத்துக்காக துளசி பறிக்க போறச்சே பிரார்த்திக்கணும், ஏ கேசவ பிரியே, நான் உன்னை பறிச்சிருக்கவே மாட்டேன், ஆனா பகவதாராதனத்துக்காக பறிக்கிறேன், இல்லைன்னா உன்னை தொட்டிருக்கவே மாட்டேன் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு தான் துளசியை பறிக்கணும். துளசி மால்யத் மாலத்யதர்ஷி அதர்ஷி வஹ் क्वचिन् மல்லிகே ஜாதி யூதிகே. One is jatipu, other is jasmine, the other is lotus. There are so many varieties of flower. They have all blossomed well. Probably we are the only one weeping. These flowers do not weep. Probably Krishna is still with them. He is vanished from us, not from the lotus. Kim te kritam kshititapo bata keshavandri brindavane sthiracharatmaka chaiva nachai naivalabhamahi janim papa padam. He Bhagavan brindavane sthiracharatmaka tukkita durva paryanta jantu nichaye bataye tadanin. In Brindavana, you placed your foot in what area? Vrindavanata Vrajabhumi nu solramullu. Vrajabhumi is 84 crores Vrajabhumi. A crosha equals 2 miles. 84 crosha, 84 crosha is 168 miles. The entire Vrajabhumi. There is not a single square inch where Krishna has not stepped on. He has stepped on every inch of that. But he doesn't step on us. அதெல்லாத்துக்கும் அந்த பாக்கியத்தை கொடுத்தியே, எங்களுக்கு அந்த பாக்கியமே கொடுக்கலையப்போ. பாகும் பிரியாம்ச உபதாய கிரகீத பத்மா ராமானுஜஸ் துளசிகாலி குலைர் மதாந்தை அன்வீயமான இஹ வஸ்தரவ பிரணாமம் கிம் வா அபிநந்ததி சரண் பிரணயாவலோகை. Many creepers were bowing down. It should be like this. We think when Krishna ran away, when he vanished from us, he touched all these creepers. They are all now offering their salutations to Krishna. That's why they are all bowing down. When we go near, why are they raising up? They would not like to salute us. We thought any concert of Krishna would be saluted. We were under that impression. But why is all these creepers not respecting us? Because we are now separated by Krishna. We are abandoned by Krishna. Anyone accepted by Krishna would be respected by the whole universe. Anyone who is removed from Krishna, who is away from Krishna, will not be respected by anyone, not even the creepers and trees. அப்ப என்ன பண்றது? Let us do anukaram. Let's enact the drama as it happened during Kaliya Damana. What happened there? Krishna Ramayite Dvetu Gopayantyascha Kanchana Vatsayatim Hantichanya Tatraikaitu Baikayita Kasyanchit Swabhujam Nyasya Chalantya Pahara Nanu Krishnoham Pashyata Gatin Lalitamiti Tanmanaha. Two girls got together. One started walking in the same walking style of Krishna. Krishna had an inimitable walking style, an unparalleled walking style. அதே ஒரு மாதிரி இடுப்பு உடைச்சு நடப்புறான். அவள் எல்லாரும் இந்த தலையில எப்ப பார்த்தாலும் பானையை வச்சு நடக்கிற பாருங்க. அந்த வெயிட்ல கோபிகா ஸ்திரீகள்லாம் இடுப்பு அப்படி உடைச்சு நடப்பாளாம், கையை அப்படி ஆட்டி நடப்பாளாம். அதே போல கண்ணனும் நடப்பலாம். அதை போல யோகத்தி நடக்கிறச்சு போ ஹே கிருஷ்ண துஷ்ட காளிய திஷ்டாத்ர கிருஷ்ணோஹம் இதி சாபரா. I am Krishna, look at me. One gopika walks, other says yes, this has to be Krishna. He walks the same style as Krishna. Another two gopikas get together, one holds the other. Dushta Kaliya Tishtatra, oh the wicked Kaliya, stay there, don't move from your place, I am going to drive away, chase away to the ocean. Another gopika assumes herself to be Kaliya and she is so scared of the other gopika, she bows down, she holds her nose, says, as per your order, oh gopika, I will leave, oh Krishna, I will leave this pond, I will reach ocean. Another gopika steps on the head of the other gopika and says, I have now tamed you. You are the deadly serpent who will move from here. Shukacharya inquires, will this happen? A gopika can act as Krishna. Will another gopika act as Kaliya? அது கூட உண்டுவா? உங்களுக்கு யாருக்கெல்லாம் ராவணனா நடிக்க ஆசை? இப்போ கேட்டா சுவாமி ராமனா லட்சுமணனா கொடுத்தீங்கன்னா தேவையில்லை. இப்போ திடீர்னு ராமனான்னு சொன்னா யாரெல்லாம் ஷூர்பணக்கையா நடிக்கிறதுக்கு ஆசை? நிச்சயமா இல்லைன்னு தாட்டக்க இல்லவே இல்லைன்னு. ஆனா இப்ப அவ சொல்றா யாரோ ஒரு கோபிக்கை எப்படி காளிங்கனா நடிக்கிறான்னால் the aspect there is, the important point is, if a gopika unable to bear separation from Krishna is imitating from Krishna, then she is a great Bhagavata girl. If at all that Bhagavata girl will just hurt me, or Bhagavata girl will place her foot on my head, if I act as Kaliya, then I am blessed. அந்த பாகவத பெண்ணுடைய காலு எங்க தலையில படுமோ இல்லையோ, அப்படின்னா அந்த கால் படலாம. கண்ணனா நடிக்கிற அளவுக்கு ஒத்தி காசு இருந்ததுனால் அப்ப அவ கால் பட்டா என்ன? let him be blessed at least by this Bhagavata girl அப்படிங்கிறதுக்காக இன்னொத்தி இப்ப காளிங்கனா கூட இருக்கலாம். துஷ்ட காளிய திஷ்டாத்ர கிருஷ்ணோஹமிதி சாபரா மாபேஷ்ட வாதவர்ஷாபியாம் தத்ராணம் விஹிதம் மயா ஆருஹ்யைகா பதாக்கிரமிய சிரஸ்யாபஹராம் நிருப And they went on and on. They continued the search of Krishna. They could not. But one girl sighted, one Gopika sighted a pair of footprints. What is this? We never noticed this so long. Why? Where is this pair going? Whose feet would these pair be? It should have been one Gopika and Krishna. Now see the cheating nature of Krishna. He has taken one Gopika and Ekanta along with him. So they both have gone in this route. Let us follow them. Let us chase the footprints. They went and followed. After a few steps, after a few meters, two were not seen. There was no two footprints. Instead, there was one which was a strong footprint. What would have happened? This girl should have pleaded to Krishna, I am unable to walk anymore, carry me on your shoulders. So Krishna has been carrying this girl. Let us follow further. They followed further. There was a girl, a lonely girl, no Krishna there. And that girl was crying aloud. All the other Gopikas went by the side of her. What happened, Gopika? You were accompanying Krishna, that's what we understand. But why are you alone here? Now listen to my story. My story is, Krishna took me and I got haughty that Krishna has selected me. He has chosen me along with him. So in that haughtiness, ahankara, I pleaded with Krishna, I am unable to walk more, carry me. He accepted. He did not quench my ahankara then. Instead, he fanned it. He fanned at the ahankara and I sat on his shoulders. Further he went. Then I said, even if you are carrying me, I am unable to stand. I am unable to sit. Now place me on the floor. So he placed me. I saw a bunch of flowers on a tree. I requested Krishna, can you pluck those flowers and give me? Krishna went. He religiously took all the flowers, gave me. I said, I am unable to wear them. Can you yourself decorate me? ஓஹோ இவளுக்கு ரொம்ப அதிகமாக போயிட்டு இருக்கு. சரி பாப்போம். குனி பெண்ணே குனிஞ்சுக்கோ. கேன் யூ பவ் டவுன், ஐ வில் டெக்கரேட் யூ வித் ஃப்ளவர்ஸ். அந்த பெண்ணு குனிஞ்சா பகவான் மேனிஷ்ட். இப்போ அவ சொல்றது, யூ அட்லீஸ்ட் ஹாவ் கம்பெனி டு கிரை. ஐ டோன்ட் ஈவன் ஹாவ் தட். நீங்க எல்லாரும் கூட்டமாவான அழுதுன்னு வந்திருக்கீள். என்னை தனியா வேற விட்டுட்டு போயிட்டாரோ இல்லையோ, அதனால தான் நான் தனியா உட்காந்து அழுதுன்னு இருக்கேன். ஆச்சின்வத குசுமம் அங்கிரி சரோருகந்தே பிருந்தாவனம் மம தியஞ்ச சநாதயந்தி. All these creepers and the mud, Shukacharya or Uddhava, they plead that if at all we have a next birth, can we take birth as this mud, as this creeper, or as any of the flowers which Krishna touched? அது ஒன்று இருந்துதான் போரும் இல்லையோ. நாம பிறந்தாலும் கூட அகம் குந்தோவா யமுனா தட்டே, அயம் கதம்போ பூயாசம் குந்தோவா யமுனா தட்டே. Kadamba maram is a kadamba vriksha. Kunda mara is a kurunda vriksha. Krishna placed his lotus feet on those trees. Now can I not be born again as these trees? Appadi irundha kuda I will reach moksham. So these gopikas did not find Krishna. Time was passing by. Hanatha Ramana Preshta Kwasi Mahabhuja Dasyaste Kripanayame Sakhe Darshaya Sannidhim Anvichantyo Bhagavataha Margam Gopyo Viduratat. Next chapter is the glorious Gopika Geetam. Gopika Geetam is a set of songs, a collection of poems which were sung by Gopikas. They were going in search of Krishna, so they sing in search of Krishna. What did they sing? Jayati te adhikam janmana vrajaha shrayata indira shashwadatrahi dayita drishyatam dikshutavaka tvayidrita stavastvam vichinvate. Dayita jayati te adhikam janmana jayati. Hey Lakshmi Vallabha Krishna, you always win. You are victorious. Hail you Krishna. Hail you Gopalanandana. Sharadudashaye Sadhu Jatasad Sarasijodara Shri Mushadrisha. Now, please accept our pranams. We have faltered. Please forgive us. Appear before us again. Karasarorugam Kantakamadam Shirasi Dehina Shrikaragraham Vraja Janartihan Artihan Veera Yoshitam Nijajanasyamat Hasvanastinaha Bhajasake Bhavat Kinkarihi Smano Jalaruhananam Charudarshaya Karasaroruham Kantakamadam. Hey Kamada, one who grants the desires, one who satisfies the desires of all girls. Hey Karasaroruham, your lotus hands, your lotus eyes, and your lotus lips, can you place all of them on our head? Will we be blessed forever? Will we be blessed at least once to hold your great arm? Pranata Dehinam Papakarshanam Trinacharanugaha Sriniketanam. You are Sriniketanam, the embodiment of beauty. Trinacharanugam Papakarshanam. You dispel the Papa by your very sight. by your very glance. Panipanarpitam tepadambujam. Panipanarpitam. Pani, the thousand-hooded serpent Kaliya. Panipanarpitam. Your lotus feet had, Kaliya had the opportunity. Kaliya was blessed enough to hold your feet. Should we not be blessed by the same? Panipanarpitam tepadambujam. Then they say, Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam kavibhiriditam kalmashavaham shramanamangalam shimadaadatam bhuvigranantiye bhuridajanaha. Oh Krishna, the only solace we have among this misery is one. We are able to listen to Upanyasakas. Upanyasakas are mentioned here. Shukacharya mentions about Upanyasakas. Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam kavibhiriditam kalmashamaham. You listen to the glorious pastimes of Krishna, kalmashamaham. All your kalmasha, papa get cleared. Tava kathamritam. Your katha is eternal nectar. Tapta jivanam kavivirididam. If you are all getting burnt in samsara tapa, in the fire of samsara, the only nectar that can redeem us is your kathamrita. Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam shravanamangalam shrimadaadatam. It's so good, it's so auspicious to listen to your pastimes. Shravanamangalam shrimadaadatam. Bhuvigranantiye bhuridajanaha. All these great preceptors, they go from place to place. They talk about you. They distribute your wealth. It's you who get distributed. You get distributed by all these great acharyas. But for them, how would we know you? But for them, how would you reach us? But for them, how would we know about your pastimes or your divine attributes? So we are to be grateful to them. Upanyasakas or the preceptors who preach about you. Prahasitam Shavanamangalam Shrimadaadatam Bhuvigranantiye Bhuridajanaha. They can be equated to the magnanimous cloud. Cloud bursts, cloud immediately showers. Like similarly, all the preceptors, Acharya also shower about your good message. Chalasi yat praja charayan pashum shilatranam kuraihi sidatitinaha atati yat bhavan anhikananam trutiryugayate tvamapashyatam kutilakuntalam shimukhanchate jadavudikshatam pakshmagadrisham. Now let us admit that we are unable to bear this separation even for a second. Trutiryugayate. 1 second looks like hundreds and hundreds of years. We are trying to push those years, but it's only 1 second on separation. If we are separated from you, 1 second equals 1,000 years. And if you are in spiritual union with you, 1,000 years simply fly like a second. Trutiyugayate tvamapashyatam. Thinking that Krishna has raised a question. What in me makes you tadapana? Do you call in Hindi as tadapte hain? Adhe maripo. What makes you all shiver? What is that so attractive in me? All the girls admit, it's all your lock of hair. It's your beautiful hair that we are absorbed in. Kutila kuntalam shimukhanchate, your beautiful hair and the glowing face in between that hair. The dark the hair it is, the curly the hair it is. So we are absorbed by all. Alvar solrar, Yedayaravi unnum yenaikoochangalo ariyen, Adiyan kannabiran tirukkangallo ariyen ennum, Kolginna kolirale chugurunditta kodunchurulin utkonda neelanannul tadavol annumayan kodal. Bhagavanuடைய குடல்ங்கிறது தலைமையில் இல்லையோ அது எவ்வளவு கருப்பா இருக்கும். How dark would be the hair lock of Krishna? It's so dark. Can you choose Amavasya Kalaratri darkness? Choose the darkness and you better polish it in a machine. Choose Amavasya Ratri darkness. It's not possible. Choose it and then you send it through a machine, polish it with a machine, take it in threads, take it out as threads, hold it together. There may be some white threads possible. Remove them. They are all wasted threads. Remove them. You take only the gist. You take only the sieved threads possible or are so dark. Hold them together. Hold the lock of hair of Krishna together. Of course, this will turn white. Whatever you tried and made this dark, this will all turn white when compared with the hair lock of Krishna. Truti yugayate tvamapashyatam kutila kuntalam shimukhanchate. How kutila? How curly will the hair of Krishna be? Vedanta Deshika gives an example. He says, it will be as curly, as crooked as Choda Desha Strees would talk and scold. அவர் தொண்டநாட்டுக்காரர். அவருக்கு என்ன கோபமோ தெரியல சோழ தேசத்திரிகள் பேர்ல. இந்த தஞ்சாவூர் திருச்சி பக்கம் இருக்கிற பெண்கள்லாம் குறுக்கு 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 எப்படி வெய்வாளோ அதை போல பெருமானுடைய தலைமையில் குறுக்கு குறுக்கு குறுக்குன்றார். அது எவ்வளவு கேலியா இருக்குன்னால் இந்த பெண்கள்லாம் வெய்வாளாம். அவ வெய்றாப்ல குப்பியது சோழி வச்சன குட்டிலைஹி குந்தளைஹி. அத போல பெருமானுடைய அழகு. பிருகதுரஹ ஸ்ரீயோ வீக்ஷ தாமத்தே முகரஹ ஸ்பிருஹா முக்கியதே மனஹ பிரஜவனௌகசாம் வியக்திரங்கதே பிருஜிஹனம் திரளம் விஸ்வமங்கலம். Now that we are separated for long, we cannot bear anymore. We have realized our fault. Can you appear before us, Krishna? Krishna too now realize. A minute more of separation will kill them. So I have to save them. He appeared amongst them. Rurudu suswaram rajan Krishna darshana lalasaha. All of them cried, but in a great musical note. They cried. Rurudu suswaram. Suswaram rurudu. சுஸ்வரம்னா ரொம்ப அழகா பாடினான்னு அர்த்தம். ருருதுகுன்னா அழுதான்னு அர்த்தம். ரொம்ப ஸ்வரத்தோட அழுதாள் அப்படின்னு தகப்பனார் வேடிக்கையா சொல்லுவார். அது என்ன அடர்ச்ச ஸ்வரத்தோட கூட அழுவாளான்னா அழுவா. யாருக்கு நன்னா பாட தெரியுமோ அவ அழுதா கூட பாடுறாப்புல இருக்குமா. எதே மாதிரினால் பாட தெரியலன்னா பாடினாலே அழறாப்புல இருக்கும் இல்லையா, அத போலேன்னு சொல்லுவார். சுஸ்வரம் ருருதுகு ராஜன் கிருஷ்ண தரிசன லாலசாக தாசாம் ஆவிரபூ சௌரிகி ஸ்மயமான முகாம்புஜா. தாசாம் ஆபிரவு சௌரிஹி ஸ்மயமான முகாம்புஜ பீதாம்பரதர ஸ்ரக்வி சாக்ஷாத் மன்மத மன்மத. Manmatha has to beg, come with a begging bowl to Krishna to beg for some beauty. Krishna was so beautiful, he was so charming. Tasam, amongst them, Avirabhut, Bhagavan appeared. Avirabhut Chaurihi, he had a beautiful shauri plate. நான் போட்டுந்தா போட்டு திருக்கண வருது போங்க போனா சௌரி பெருமாளை செவிப்பிடலையோ. சிலையிலங்கு பொன்னாடி தென்படை தண்டொன் சங்கம் என்கின்றாளால் மலையிலந்து தோல் நான்கே மற்றவனுக்கு எற்றேகான் என்கின்றாளால் முலையிலங்கு பூம்பயலை முன்போட வன்போடு இருக்குன்னாளால் கலையிலங்கு மொழியாளர் கண்ணபுரத்தம்மானே கண்டாள்குளோன்னு ரொம்ப ஆச்சரியமான பாசுரம். ஸோ பகவான் அப்பியர்ட். தாசாம் ஆவிரபூ சௌரிஹி ஸ்மயமான முகாம்புஜா வித் தட் சேம் crooked ஸ்மைல். அவரது சிரிக்கிறது பார்த்தாலே நம்மட்டு சிரிப்புங்கிற மரும அதே போல சிரிச்சுண்டு பீதாம்பரதர ஸ்ரக்வி wearing that golden ornament and golden attire. பீதாம்பரதர ஸ்ரக்வி சாக்ஷாத் மன்மத மன்மதா. Then he said, now Raasa Krida begins, get together. அதை சொன்ன உடனே எல்லாரும் அப்படி சுத்தி ஊத்தினுட்டா. காச்சித் ததார தத் பாகு மம்சே சந்தன ரூஷிதம் காதித்த சஞ்சலினா கிருஹதன்வி தாம்பூல சர்விதம். One girl placed her arm on the shoulders of Krishna. Krishna repeated it on the shoulders of another Gopika. They started. First the note and the speed was quite slow. They increased the speed. Someone started beating a drum. Some started playing a flute. Some other playing a veena. And all the Devastris from Akasha, they were dumbfounded. They thought we were the great musicians on throughout this universe. But now this is something unparalleled. We should all stop our musical concert. We have no eligibility hereafter. We have lost forever. Krishna has conquered all. Brahma from his celestial Brahma Loka, Indra from his Swarga Loka, they were also envious of Krishna. Can anything happen on this material, useless earth like this? Here is Krishna, the Vaikunthanatha, who has descended to material world, and he has transformed this world to be Vaikuntha. This world is no more a Bhuloka. This world has transformed to be Vaikuntha. Thereafter, let us not stay back anymore in Swarga or Satyaloka. Let us all go towards Brindavana. Nakachit Randhrena Hritikritya Nimilyacha Sarvastaha Keshavaloka. As and as the more the speed increased, Gopikas, they went tired. They turned tired. They started perspiring. They started to sweat. They could not stand up. Slowly, some girls lunged on Krishna. Krishna held them. This looked as though the whole universe is held by Krishna and it all lunges on Krishna. As we are held by him, and these Gopikas, when they lunged on Krishna and Krishna held them, it looked as though the whole universe is after all created by him and he holds them. Naham tu sakhyo bhajatopi jantun. One girl had tambula charavana. She had betel nut leaves and she shared that Amrita Rasa with Krishna. Krishna shared his Amrita Rasa of betel nut leaves with this Gopika. This looked at all the Devatas looking at that. They felt very sorry that the fortune these Gopikas are enjoying is not even enjoyed, not even blessed to Lakshmi Devi. Not even to Bhuma Devi. Why all these heavenly damsels in your Varmbha, Urvasha, Tilottama, Menasa, none of them? Idinna Bhagyam. In the Bhagyam, Nama Otrikume Kadakaliapot, Yata Dhana, Labdadhane, Vinashte, Yevam Madattojita, Loka Veda Swanam. This happened and happened till 2 a.m. in the night. It all started at 7:30 p.m. Krishna went on and on and on. It was together sometimes. He vanished for a few hours. Then he appeared for later after a few hours. Tatra Arabhata Govinda Raasa Krida Manuvrataihi Rasotsava Sampravritta Gopi Mandala Mandita Yogeshwarena Krishnena Tasam Madhye Dvayor. A Krishna, a Gopika, a Krishna, a Gopika. It went on forever. Looking at that, Shukacharya concludes the question of Parikshit. Oh Parikshit, let me answer you now. The question is, Samsthapanaya dharmasya prasamayetarasya cha avatirno hi bhagavan amshena jagadishwara. Krishna took birth. He descended to this world to establish dharma, whereas he is killing dharma. He is now spoiling dharma. This is not dharma. When they are wives of other husbands, how can Krishna dance with them? Quickly came the reply from Shukacharya. First, whatever great noble souls do, first shut your mouth, Parikshit. No to remain shut. Don't question everyone. Don't question anything. There are certain things under your control in this earth. There are certain things which are not under your control. You cannot imitate all. Whatever is good to you from the life and history of noble souls, follow. If you are unable to follow, leave it. You can't question. Because the reason being, Shiva, Paramashiva, when the ocean of milk was churned, up came Hala Hala Visha. It was offered to Shiva. Shiva drank it. அப்படின்னா நம்மளும் பண்ணலாமா? அவர் பண்றாரேன்னு கேட்டுட்டு இருந்தா அப்ப சிவன் விஷத்தை குடிச்சாரு. குடிச்சாரு, நம்ம குடிக்கலாமோ? சங்கராச்சாரியர் போயிட்டு இருக்கார். He was going along with his disciples. Someone offered him liquor. He drank it. He went ahead. Someone offered him a burning pot of zinc or lead. He gulped it. அதையும் சாப்பிட்டார். இவன் முதல்ல சிஷ்யாலாம் நினைச்சா, தேவையில்லையே இவர் கொடுத்தா இதெல்லாம் சாப்பிட்றாரு, நம்ம கூட சாப்பிடலாம்னா 10 அடி போன உடனே எக்கு காய்ச்சி கொடுத்தா சாப்பிட்டார். சாப்பிட முடியுமா? அவர்கள் என்ன பண்ணிருக்காளோ எல்லாத்தையும் கேள்வி கேட்டு இருக்க முடியாது. முதல்ல அதை புரிஞ்சுக்கோ சுகா. எல்லா இடத்துக்கும் பரீட்சித்து கேள்வி கேட்காதே. உனக்கு எது கூடுமோ அதை செய். So we can't question great people as they have the ability to redeem themselves. We don't have that ability. They can do some prayashita and get rid of it, but we cannot. This is the first answer given. The second was Tesham yat swavacho yuktam buddhimanstat samacharet kushalachariteena ishamiha viparyayena vanarthaha nirahankarinam prabho. You cannot question them or equate them to our deeds or misdeeds because he is untouched by karma. This is the second point. Krishna himself mentions this in Bhagavad Gita. Namam karmani limpanti name karma phale spriha. Karma should not touch me and I am unaffected by karma. I neither want the results of karma. We want the results of karma. Krishna does not. So that doesn't affect him. Lastly, antaryami. This third answer is very important. Yaha antascharati saha adhyakshaha krideneha deha bhag anugrahaya bhutanam manusham dehamasthitah. He is the one who dwells within the heart of, in the entire body of all these gopikas as well as the husbands of gopikas. He doesn't stop within these gopikas. He is omnipresent. He is present everywhere. Antaryami, Sarva Vyapaka. He is well within the bodies of all husbands and also within the wives. So, oh Parikshit, please note, now that the Rasa Krida is over, every husband would have got the joy that they have danced with their wife. Please go and check. அதுதான் நடந்ததுன்னு சரித்திரம். அதனால யாருக்கும் ஒரு நட்டமும் இல்லை. இப்போ Rasa Krida was completed. All the girls went back home and people were all quite satisfied and happy with those girls. Nobody frowned at them. Nobody complained on them. Nobody found fault with them. The reason being, when Krishna dwells within everyone, when he is the Antaratma, Antaryami of every soul, there is no point of complaining at all. There we complete Rasa Krida. I thank you all for attending today. We could go on and on and on, but we are never allowed to go on. Anything good on earth has to come to a conclusion. That's the reason we all want to leave earth. அதான் காரணம். இங்கே கிளம்பணும்னா எதுவாக இருந்தாலும் முடிஞ்சு போயிடுமோ இல்லையோ. என்ன நல்லதா பிரம்மோத்சவம் ஓஹோ நடக்கும், அத்தியனோத்சவம் நன்னா நடக்கும், 21 நாள் முடிஞ்சு போயிடுமே. தீர்த்தம் சாதிச்சிருவா, சடாரி வாழ்ந்தாகணும், வீட்டுக்கு வந்தாகணும், இனிமே அடுத்த பிரம்மோத்சவம் எப்போ வரும் அப்படின்னு காத்துட்டு இருக்க வேண்டியதுதான். காத்துட்டு இருப்போம். இன்னைக்கு கிருஷ்ணலேலியை கேட்கிற பாக்கியம் கிடைச்சது. Let us all offer our salutations and prayers to Parikshit, Shukacharya, Vedavyasa, one and all who made this great Bhagavatam possible to us, available to us. Brindaranya Nivasaya, Balaramanujaya cha, Rukmani Prananathaya, Parthasutaya Mangalam, Shrimate Ramyajamadru Munindraya Mahatmane, Shriranga Vasine Bhuyat, Nitya Shri Nitya Mangalam. I will have to place my great respect, I will have to place my thanks to Sydney Andal Gorti, who have been instrumental in inviting me here and making this grand event possible, especially the few volunteers who have been very active. பல பேரும் உங்களுக்கு தெரிஞ்சவாதான், எல்லாரும் உங்களுக்கு தெரிஞ்சவாதான். மோகன் சுவாமி ரொம்ப கான்டாக்ட் பண்ணி என்னை கூட்டின்னு வந்து வீட்டில் வச்சுருந்து என்ன தொந்தரவோ வீட்டில் வச்சுருந்து நித்தியப்படி கூட்டின்னு போய் விட்டு வந்து அவாவா வேலையை விட்டு வரணும் இல்லையா? எவ்வளவோ கட்டத்துக்குள்ளே நீங்கள் வேலை பார்த்துட்டு இதனால அதை விட்டுட்டு வந்து எல்லாத்தையும் ரொம்ப நல்லா நடத்திருக்கீர்கள். எல்லாரையுமே சொல்ல வேண்டியதுதான், உங்களுக்கு எல்லாம் தெரிஞ்சவா தானே. அதனால் அனைவருடைய குடும்ப க்ஷேம லாபத்துக்கும் பிரார்த்தித்து கொண்டு செங்கன் திருமுகத்து செல்வ திருமாலால் எங்கும் திருவருள் பெற்று இன்புறுவர்னு சொல்லி மறுபடியும் ஒரு முறை எல்லா தன்னார்வ தொண்டர்களுக்கும் பல்லாண்டு பல்லாண்டு பல்லாண்டு. இதை ஒருத்தர் ஏற்பாடு பண்ணார், இடத்த ஒருத்தர் கொடுத்தார், ரெக்கார்டு ஒருத்தர் பண்ணார். நீங்கள் நான் கேட்கறதுக்கு வந்திருக்கீள், அடியோமோடு நின்னோடும் திருவிண்ணி 1000 பல்லாண்டு என்று சொல்லி அமைகிறேன்.